Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hoped for. Is God willing to prevent evil, but not able? Then he is not omnipotent. Is he able, but not willing? Then he is malevolent. If he is both able and willing, then from where comes evil? Is he neither able nor willing? Then why call him God? Death, therefore, the most awful of evils, is nothing to us, seeing that when we are, death is not come, and when death is come, we are not. He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing. Of all the means to ensure happiness throughout the whole life, by far the most important is the acquisition of friends. The wealth required by nature is limited and easy to produce, but the wealth required by vain ideals extends to infinity. You don't develop courage by being happy in your relationships every day. You develop it by surviving difficult times and challenging adversity. It is folly for a man to pray to the gods for that which he has the power to obtain by himself. Not what we have, but what we enjoy constitutes our abundance. It is not so much our friends' help that helps us, as the confident knowledge that they will help us. I have never wished to cater to the crowd. For what I know, they do not approve, and what they approve, I do not know. The art of living well and the art of dying well are one. If the gods listened to the prayers of men, all humankind would quickly perish, since they constantly pray for many evils to befall one another. He who has peace of mind disturbs neither himself nor another. Accustom yourself to the belief that death is of no concern to us, since all good and evil lie in sensation, and sensation ends with death. Therefore, the true belief that death is nothing to us makes a mortal life happy, not by adding to it an infinite time, but by taking away the desire for immortality. For there is no reason why the man who is thoroughly assured that there is nothing to fear in death should find anything to fear in life. Empty is the argument of the philosopher, which does not relieve any human suffering. We must, therefore, pursue the things that make for happiness, seeing that when happiness is present, we have everything. But when it is absent, we do everything to possess it. He who says either that the time for philosophy has not yet come, or that it has passed, is like someone who says that the time for happiness has not yet come, or that it has passed. It is better for you to be free of fear, lying on a pallet, than to have a golden couch and a rich table and be full of trouble. Death is nothing to us. When we exist, death does not. And when death exists, we do not. All sensation and consciousness ends with death. And therefore, in death, there is neither pleasure nor pain. The fear of death arises from the belief that in death there is awareness. The greater the difficulty, the more the glory in surmounting it. The purpose of all knowledge, metaphysical as well as scientific, is to achieve ataraxia, freedom from irrational fears and anxieties of all sorts. In brief, peace of mind. The time when you should most of all withdraw into yourself is when you are forced to be in a crowd. The most important consequence of self-sufficiency is freedom. We should look for someone to eat and drink with before looking for something to eat and drink. Of all the things which wisdom acquires to produce the blessedness of the complete life, the greatest is the possession of friendship. Life on earth comes to us with no strings attached. There is no maker whose puppets we are. There is no script for us to follow and be constrained by. It is up to us to discover the real constraints which our own nature imposes upon us. We have the power to both obliterate our misfortunes in an almost perpetual forgetfulness and to summon up pleasant and agreeable memories of our successes. But when we fix our mental vision closely on the events of the past, sorrow or gladness ensues according to our actions. It is not the pretend, but the real pursuit of philosophy that is needed. For we do not need the appearance of good health, but to enjoy it in truth. If a person fights the clear evidence of his senses, he will never be able to share in genuine tranquility. If you would make a man happy, add not to his riches, but take away from his desires. If you shape your life according to nature, you will never be poor. If, according to people's opinions, you will never be rich. Never science for the sake of science, but always science for the sake of human happiness. The conquest of fear, especially fear of unaccountable divine beings who meddle in nature at will, means a reduction in the sum total of human pain and suffering, and opens the door to the calm acceptance of a new picture of the world, a world in which nature is autonomous and where there are ideal beings who never meddle. All things are in flux. When you die, your mind will be gone even faster than your body. It is not possible for a man to banish all fear from the essential questions of life unless he understands the nature of the universe and unless he banishes all consideration that the fables told about the universe could be true. Therefore, a man cannot enjoy full happiness, untroubled by turmoil, unless he acts to gain knowledge of the nature of things. A person who doubts his senses will either lose contact with the reality of the surrounding world, or he will fall prey to theological explanations which do not allay anxiety but foment it. Against other things, it is possible to obtain security, but when it comes to death, we human beings all live in an unwalled city. Pleasure and pain, moreover, supply the motives of desire and of avoidance, and the springs of conduct generally. This being so, it clearly follows that actions are right and praiseworthy only as being a means to attainment of a life of pleasure. What the Greeks term telos, the highest, ultimate, or final good. Our immediate feelings are far more cogent and authoritative guides to the good life than abstract maxims, verbal indoctrination, or even the voice of reason itself. Hence, ethics should be based on nature, not on convention or on reason. We must free ourselves from the prison of everyday affairs and politics. I am grateful to blessed nature because she made what is necessary easy to acquire and what is hard to acquire unnecessary. Some men spend their whole life furnishing for themselves the things proper to life without realizing that at our birth, each of us was poured a mortal brew to drink. Meditate then on all these things and on those things which are related to them, both day and night, and both alone and with like-minded companions. For if you will do this, you will never be disturbed while asleep or awake by imagined fears, but you will live like a god among men. For a man who lives among immortal blessings is in no respect like a mortal being.